Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. The musical Wicked, which has become a worldwide phenomenon and one of the most successful musicals of all time, is celebrating its 15th anniversary on Broadway. And I'm here at the Gershwin Theatre to catch up with the latest Elphaba and Glinda, Jessica Vosk, and Amanda Jane Cooper. Hi, ladies. How are you?
So good. How are you?
It's so good to have you here.
Well, I'm thrilled to be sitting with both of you, and we're in your dressing room, right? Tell the fans where we are.
We're in the Glinda dressing room with the Gershwin. So delighted to have Richie Rich here. Jess and I were texting earlier today, and I was like, Jess, it's been a dream of mine for a decade to be interviewed by Richie Rich, so I'm really excited.
Well, that means the world. I love both of you, just so you know.
Aww.
So, how exciting is it for the two of you? You are starring on Broadway in Wicked and for the 15th anniversary. What does it all mean?
Gosh, it's surreal. You know, it's surreal to be a part of a show that has been so actively huge for 15 years and still has the magic and the, factor of selling out every single night and getting to actually tell the story in a completely different, let's call it socioeconomic time than it was 15 years ago, yet it still is relevant now. I don't know if you would agree, but
absolutely.
It's special. I get to, work across from somebody who I think is a genius, and
right back at
Did you know
right
each
back
other
at you, Vosk.
before you started?
We actually got to tour together back in late 2016, early 2017 for 6 months on tour, and
in Wicked.
In Wicked, yeah,
Okay.
it was really special. It was when I was like heading out, and Jess
my
was
very
coming
first Wicked experience.
Okay, so first tell me what it means for you with the 15th, then we're going to get into how it all started.
Yeah, it means it's a really, really big honor. It's a super privilege to be here for sure, especially in a show like Jess was saying that's so relevant and that basically it's just guaranteed to sweep people off their feet every night. Just the story is so beautiful, so important, I think, in the human message that it has about friendship and forgiveness and justice and kindness. And so it's really an honor, and I'm just pinching myself every day.
And then you get to be around, the festivities of it all, which are like, you get to be around Idina and Kristin, the OGs. And they, like the ones who began it all. And Kristin came to see the show this past week for her very first time since she left in 2004.
What a pinch me moment for both of you,
major
right?
pinch me, and major sort of, you kind of realize in these small little waves what an honor it is to be able to portray the two characters that are still so iconic right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And we get to do this, 8 times a week, and it is not lost on myself, and I know it's not lost on Amanda Jane, because we just sit here kind of going, oh wow, this is our job.
This is our lives right now. It's incredible, yeah. And it's really an honor to be across from Jess doing this as her partner, and just getting to go deeper and deeper with this story. And even as our friendship grows, it also grows on stage as well. So it's a really, really cool
People
job.
fly in from all around the world, but not just here on Broadway. I mean, Wicked is global. There are productions all over the world and have been productions. I mean, why do you think it resonates with audiences in every different language all around the world, generation after generation?
Gosh, it's a story of two young ladies. We see them starting out, really, and it's a story of how their friendship came to be in the most odd of situations, and you kind of follow them through their adult life as well, which is laden with some disasters and a lot of friendships that end in fighting, and you realize at the end of the day that this is a story about two women who are very strong in their own ways, who are extremely different, yet they've still come together and beat the odds of, two people who couldn't be more, separate. And yet they've still come together and become best friends. And at the end of the day, I think anybody can relate to that, whether it's somebody who's coming in who is, relating to Elphaba because they feel a little bit bullied or they feel different. And, they see somebody who is green on stage, who's the only person who around getting ridiculed, coming into her own for the first time. And that's a huge deal. I take that really seriously. I think it's a big responsibility, or somebody comes in and says, I can really feel what it's like to have a best friend who I love so much, and we could fight to the death, and yet I still would give them the shirt off my back. And that, I think, is a theme that's just a universal theme, whatever language it's in. And it's beautiful. People come into the show thinking that they're going to see one thing because the theme is so familiar of what they've grown up with, yet it's a completely different, show once they leave. Do you find that?
Absolutely. I think there's so many surprises. There's so many unexpected moments. There's so many twists and turns that just people maybe don't foresee. And I also think that it's a really powerful, deeply human thing to know what it's like to be changed for good by someone, even if they're very different from you, like you were saying, and even if you've been through some tumultuous times. But ultimately, like, these two women, they complement each other. Like, they need each other. They love each other. They grow together. They, especially, I think what's so powerful is really they both transform. They both step into the fullness of who they are as a woman and learn what it means to do what is right versus what is popular. That's something that Elphaba certainly teaches Glinda, and how she's transformed from when we meet her as a young girl into the woman she becomes at the end.
And they're badass. They're just, it's
Totally,
badass.
yeah.
And it's badass because it's two women. You see, there's a lot going on right now, right? And there's a lot, where we as females are saying, we have a voice, we are smart, and we have things to provide, and we can bring all of the same things to this world as anybody else can. And this show has been around for 15 years of two women who you see grow and change, and the idea of somebody being wicked because of propaganda or whatever it is that the people around them are saying, that could be totally one thing, but at the end of the day, she's still a good person like anybody else, and just misunderstood. And I can relate to that.
Well, you both started on the road. I want to tell you, you both started on tour, right?
Yes, we did, yes.
So where did the tour cross where you two worked together?
We crossed in,
South Bend, Indiana.
South Bend, Indiana. That's where we first performed together. How special!
Don't get me wrong. I loved South Bend, Indiana.
I loved it too. I lived in a lake house there. And Jessica Vosk came in, and guys, I don't think I've ever laughed as hard, maybe in my life. There's a girl. She keeps me laughing on stage and off. I'm the class clown. She's trouble. She's the best kind of trouble.
So what do you each remember about your first performance in these roles, first in the tour and then here on Broadway?
Oh my goodness. Well, I did the first national tour back in 2011, so I just remember that was really special. Oh,
don't you love that?
Somebody's got food delivered at the theater.
It's wonderful. Live TV.
That's right.
This is what happens before half hour, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I first did the first national tour in 2011, and it was so special. I mean, I truly hardly remember my first night there because I think I just blacked out. I don't know. But it was really special because I had my family there, and then I got the opportunity to come on the second national tour in December 2015, and that was just incredible in St. Louis, Missouri. And then I had my opening night here, July 31st, 2017, and
you remembered that, right? You remember that one.
It was just, so beautiful. Family was here. Again, have sort of hard memories because I just was shaking like a leaf the whole time, but so overjoyed to be here and to get to continue telling this story here.
For you.
Let me tell you. Well, I joined the tour, right, in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah.
Lovely little town. Was a great place to start, actually. And I just remember, you get to the end of Act 1, and I thought to myself, okay, I know my, I'm going. And I was just sitting there right before singing Defying Gravity, and I thought, I'm going to die. And only because, you haven't figured out, right, the Elphaba track, she's not easy. And you haven't figured out, I hadn't figured out, surely by my first show, exactly what it's going to take to be able, you need this, snack at this point, and you get to drink this here and this. And I hadn't done any of that. And I just sat there going, I think I'm going to die now. And of course I didn't. But it was a beautiful experience. And then I joined here just in July of 2018, a couple of months ago. And it truly is, it's so extremely different than tour. And to be here on the Gershwin stage with this set, with an audience that could not have been more loving, or the cast that could not have been more buoying for your first show. it was incredible. It was incredible. I tried to soak it all in and know that, you know, I got to do this for a year on tour and sort of got to get my sea legs a little bit, and, you know, and now I get to lead a Broadway company. It's my very first time getting to do that, and I surely shed a tear or two.
Can I just brag on Jess a little bit? I had the honor of being with her for her very first tour performance and her very first Broadway performance. And even though she said that she was like having all these internal things of like, what am I doing? She's both times just cool as a cucumber. I was like, this girl, she's so good. She's so present and such a great scene partner. And I get a front row concert seat to her voice every day.
And I was like, where's the Gatorade?
Yeah.
You know?
Being in the bubble.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It's so cool. It's so cool. It's so cool. It's really, honestly, it's the scariest is when we have to do it in rehearsals or like for put-ins when the house lights are up. During the show, super fun. Sometimes I get real nervous.
You can see
Because
you can see how high you are.
Yeah, and you can just see like all the seats up there. You're like, wow, I am actually really high. But it's so fun. It's so magical and beautiful. And you know, you just have to be careful. Sometimes you do have to dodge the bubbles that are flying around your face. Sometimes you get a nice soapy note. Yeah, but it's really, really fun. It's the best entrance on Broadway, I think.
It truly
Yeah.
is.
Is there a ritual that goes on with the Glindas up there? Tell our audience.
There's a really, really special tradition that happens with every Glinda that comes before. Basically, whoever comes before you leaves a note particular to you up in the rafters, right in front of you, where you, because basically you wait in the rafters before the show by yourself, and you're up there. It's really a beautiful moment. It's fun.
Or you really get internal and you're like, oh, God.
You're literally there by yourself. But right in front of you is this note, this custom note for you, and mine was from Cara Lindsay. It's so beautiful. Be truly glad there is wonderful joy ahead is what it says. And yeah, it's really cool. So I look forward to passing that tradition along and doing that for whoever it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is there a passing of the torch for the Elphabas?
No. No, I mean, you look. What I love about the Glindas is that they are truly Glindas. I mean, Amanda Jane is truly Glinda in every way. She's one of the funniest people I've ever worked with. No joke. I mean, your comic timing is really, truly insane.
Coming from the Vosk, that's very, very
No,
sweet.
but you know, honestly, as Elphaba, when you near the end of your contract and the new witch comes in, it's sort of like, we call it the Green Girl Sisterhood of just helping somebody figure out how they're going to get through such a marathon. I mean, it truly is a marathon. There's no other way to put it. And mentally and physically alike, usually we like to, you know, gift each other a little something just to say, you know, here's the essentials that you might find yourself needing. And
Lay's
at least
chips.
the first couple, Lay's potato chips, whatever. And, no, truly. Yeah. And, you know, whatever it is, you know, that person might need, because there's a small group of women in the world who have gotten to play this role, and to be able to share that and say, I get it, girl. I get exactly what you're going through. I mean, before I even started my contract here, you know, I got a note from Shoshana Bean that just said, I'm here for you, girl. And that's what we do. We sort of let each other know that, you know, I'm here on the periphery of your life if you need advice, and it turns out you always do need advice. You know, I'm not too proud to say, like, I've asked a lot of Elphabas, you know, how do I do this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of our, I would say, any Green Girl Sisterhood tradition.
Going green. That's the ritual, too. Being green for the first time 100%. And everything else. What was that like the first time you sat in the chair and went green?
It's really cool. I have to say.
Oh, every night.
Every night we have the best makeup team in the world. And it only takes about 20 minutes. You would think it would take longer with all of that amazing contour. But it doesn't. It's Craig Jessup is our makeup supervisor, and he's out of this world. He's been here for a number of years and really has it down pat. Yeah. And the very first time, you know, when you find out that you're going to be playing this role, I was on tour and they said, okay, now you're going to do the show for the first time, you're going to rehearse, and we're going to paint you green. And you think to yourself, at least I did, I can't speak for anybody else, I thought, what am I going to look like green? Will I look great? Or will I look like a Kermit Hulk, situation?
No,
it's you never know, Amanda Jane.
Listen, I've never been in the shoes before. She looks great.
No, but they certainly help you by it's not just one color green. It's very expertly done. And when you have taken the makeup off, and I remember my first full week of shows going, this is a badge of honor, and people will say all the time, you can't get it out of your hairline. I don't want to, because I love the fact that it's like I could tell a story every single night, and yes, there's this residue still here, but it truly makes me feel like I've done something very powerful.
Yeah.
You have great fans too. What did you just get today that's sitting over here?
Whoa, you guys. I got to the stage door just before this interview, and there was this big, tall package, and I was like, it must be a poster of Liam Neeson. We'll get to that. Anyway, look at this.
That is terrific. Yeah.
It's a custom broom with Voski on it. It's like my little nickname.
So cool.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh my
Sent by a group. I
gosh.
think they're coming this week, because 15th anniversary shenanigans. But it's green.
Oh my god.
And
That's
it's
terrific.
Isn't that so lovely?
It's
but yes,
so-
I have such supportive, amazing fans out there, and they, have gotten me through the last couple of years. And there's nobody like you if you are listening, and you all know who you are. And I would take this on stage with me if I was allowed.
Yeah.
And you have
It's
some fun
really
things
an
over
honor.
there too,
I know,
right?
we have so many. First of all, these Wicked fans are so talented. I don't know how the artistry is incredible. Here's a little example. I mean, I have stuff all over my dressing
What
room.
is
but
that?
Here is a paper.
Look.
Look at all these little rolls of paper as Glinda. Look how long this must have taken. It is a piece of art. It is
15
so
years.
beautiful. 15 years.
It took
that's
15
right.
years to
That's
make
right.
that.
I've also got some red ruby slippers that I like to wear. That's by my dresser, Tracy. She's incredible. And the notes, oh my gosh, I've gotten so many notes about how this show has changed people's lives, how people were going through a really hard time, and this show inspired them and got them through, and they've been listening to this soundtrack for 13 years, and then they finally got to come see the show, and it got them through loss or a celebratory moment in their life. And so that's really, really, really meaningful. And just have people share their hearts that way. It's like truly humbling to be part of something that touches people. So
I love it. My final question is, we have over 7 million visitors a month at BroadwayWorld.
Wow.
It's a big number, and many of the people who'll be watching this are young musical theater actresses
Ooh, yeah.
watching the two of you who maybe one day would love to maybe play Elphaba or Glinda. What advice would you give to them? You two have these incredible careers. You have these beautiful coveted roles. You cherish everything you do. What advice would you give them?
Never stop learning. If you have the chance, I certainly came up a very wayward path to get here. So I love to tell people that there is really no one way to do something. And that includes being on Broadway, starring in a Broadway show. You are number one. And I still try to keep learning whenever I can, take classes, learn from other people, ask questions, and keep up your craft. I mean, there's nothing more important, I think, than, focusing on you. And that is what makes you different than anybody else. You can only do what you do. And, it's an honor to be able to do this and to be able to give advice like this to the younger generation, the people who are coming up into this world.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, I don't think, at all. And it's still not easy once you get the role. So you just have to keep, keep love in your heart for yourself. Give yourself a break. If you don't have a great day or an audition, or you are feeling like it's the end of the world and you're never going to get there, you will. Just have patience.
Great
That's
advice
good. That's
for you.
good. One thing I was thinking about with the Glinda sisterhood is, or the bubble sisterhood as we sometimes call it, is just this sort of shared support of one another and shared kindness, and just a real championing. That's not a word.
Championing.
Championing. Thank you, of one another. That has been, neither of us have gotten here just on our own. We've had people in our lives who've helped us have opportunities and who've just encouraged us. And that could be our peers, that could be teachers, that could be parents, that could be just people that have believed in us. So I would say on your journey, make sure that it's not just about you. Make sure that you're also like pulling other people up, you know? And just walk in the confidence that like you are the only you. And when you go into an audition room or something, like you're basically just there to share your gift, and what happens. Like there's a plan, there's a specific plan for you, so you don't really need to kind of be looking left and right. You just kind of need to do your thing and trust and have patience and share your gifts that are meant to be shared with others and ultimately help others. So that's what I would say. And yeah, keep learning. So good.
Plus, it wouldn't be like me to leave out the fact that we get to play these two female roles that are so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
So support your fellow female actors.
Yes.
You will find that you are in the same room with many of them all the time. And you are all incredible. And you all bring something really special to the table. At least, this story, has taught me to always be on the side of somebody else, because it's just as beautiful as your own journey.
Yeah, totally.
What sage advice. Thank you for doing this before your show.
We're so excited that you're here.
Good over here, you.
Thank you for being here.
These two, come and see Wicked.
Please.
Miss Galinda.
There's a strange acceleration in such total detestation. It's so pure, so strong. Popular, I know about popular, and with an assist from me to be who you'll be. Who you were, well, are. There's nothing that can stop you from becoming popular. Tell them how I'm defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I unmatch them in me. In all of us, no wizard that there is or was is ever gonna bring